And we are back. Welcome to my predictions for the quarterfinals of the Men's Olympics football after a round 3 final group stage games where I got heavily trolled in the comments for my treatment of Egypt and Morocco in those final rounds of predictions. And look, firstly, Spain changed their entire team because they were cocky enough to think that they could still top the group fielding their B team against Egypt. So shame on them. They still had to win that game to top the group, and now they're on the tough side of the draw. So I'll respect Egypt for getting that win, but it was against Spain's B team. I didn't expect Spain to play their B team, and I stand by, if Spain would have played their first team, they'd have beat Egypt. So you can have that, people who thought Egypt were going to win. As for Morocco, obviously, we'll get to them shortly because they are the first game on today's predictions. And also, to all of those people that trolled, where were you yesterday when I got all 6 women's predictions right for the second time in 3 games on the women's? So look, it's all just banter. It's all a bit of fun. That's why I do this series. I want to get trolled. Hit me with your best trolls in the comment section. I'm ready for it. And while you're down there, drop a like on the video and subscribe to the channel if you're new around here, because obviously tomorrow we'll be talking about the women's quarterfinals. And again, as always, we are in the build-up for the start of the new Premier League season, where every single week we'll be doing Premier League predictions, etc., etc. And without any further ado, because we have got 4 big quarterfinals to get through today, let's get into it right now. And we will start off with the opening game of the day, which is, of course, Morocco taking on America. And this is where I can address the Morocco trolls. Now, obviously, going into the Argentina game, I underestimated Morocco. Everyone told me I was wrong to say that Argentina would win comfortably. That proved to be correct because Morocco then ended up winning. Off the back of that, I went, do you know what? They played really well. I'm going to back them to beat Ukraine 4-0. And they lost. So I then go, well, Iraq beat Ukraine. Ukraine beat Morocco. But Morocco played really well against Argentina. So I'll put it somewhere in the middle and go for a draw between Morocco and Iraq. And Morocco go 3-0 up inside half an hour because Morocco are actually really good. And they have a really good striker in Rahmani, who is a Champions League winner. And before everyone dashes into the comments goes, oh, I've never seen Rahmani win the Champions League. He won the Asian Champions League with Al Ain, who are now going to the Club World Cup next summer, where he is still set to be their star striker. And best believe that this time next year, I will be covering the Club World Cup as well. So with that said, I respect how good Morocco are going into this game against America once again. But I also respect how good America are. Yes, they got smashed by France, but everyone got smashed by France in that group. France, in my opinion, have to be considered the strong favourites for the remainder of this tournament as to how well they've played so far. But America against New Zealand and against Guinea performed very, very well and beat both those sides fairly comfortably. So it isn't an easy game to call, but in terms of the actual level of performance, the players on the pitch, and more importantly, when you've got the likes of Hakimi and you've got Rahmani in your Morocco side, who have got a lot of experience competing at the latter stages of tournaments, be it in the European Champions League, the Asian Champions League, the World Cup in Qatar a couple of years ago, I think Morocco have got that extra level of experience at competitive level to end up seeing off America today. I'm going to go for 3-1. I think it's going to be a really entertaining game. I can see it being even more high scoring than that. I mean, like I've already said, this is Morocco at the Olympics. Anything can happen because everything has already happened. And thank you to whoever put that in the comments of my last video. Because literally anything could happen with this side. But that's the way I see it. I'm going for 3-1 to Morocco. I've got them to advance to the next round. Second game of the day is Spain taking on Japan. And as I've already spoken about, Spain rested their first team for that game against Egypt, lost, and now find themselves on the side of the draw with France and Argentina should they end up getting past Japan today. What I would say is that in all 3 matches that Spain have played so far, Spain have conceded. In all 3 matches that Japan have played so far, Japan haven't conceded. It's kind of gone a bit under the radar, but Japan have been really good at this Olympics. They've won 3 games out of 3, and they've not conceded a single goal. The thing is, there's been no drama in any of those games. And with all the stuff that's been happening in the Morocco-Argentina group and in the Paraguay group and all this, that, and the other, it's kind of just, in those matches where, the 4-2s and I say the Paraguay group, Japan were in Paraguay's group. But you get the point. There's been no real major drama surrounding Japan in this tournament, so it's kind of gone under the radar how well Japan have actually played. So I look at this fixture now, and I think that on paper, Spain have to be considered the favourites to win this match. However, as I've just said, Japan have been fantastic so far, and I've just got this little inkling that if they can keep doing what they've been doing, they could get a result today. And by result, I mean 1-1 draw. I don't mean win, because I can see this game going to extra time. Then the quality of Spain will end up showing through, and I've got Spain winning this in extra time or penalties. For those of you who don't know, this knockout stages is going to extra time. It's not straight to penalties. There will be extra time before penalties should they be needed. And I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw with Spain winning in extra time or penalties. Like I say, they should be considered the favourites, and I still think that if a side is going to win in 90 minutes, it's more likely to be Spain. But I'm giving Japan the benefit of the doubt. They've played fantastically so far, and I'm giving them the chance to get something in the latter stages of the match. On to the third game, which is Egypt taking on Paraguay. And like I said, I've taken my trolling regarding Egypt, but I've justified my reasonings behind it. Paraguay bounced back from that heavy defeat in their opener to perform very, very well in the remainder of their group stages and fully deserved their spot in this round. However, once again, you look at Egypt, and what you can say about Egypt is 3 games, 1 goal conceded. Defensively, they have been absolutely fantastic so far in this tournament. And the only goal they conceded was to Spain, and they won anyway. So at the end of the day, it didn't really matter. I look at Paraguay, and yes, they have scored goals, but not against a difficult team, which was, of course, Japan. So I think that Egypt are the favourites to win this one. And I'm not just saying this because I got all this stick. I genuinely believe Egypt should be considered the favourites for this because of how well they've done to get to this position. And with the way the games have gone regarding Egypt and regarding Paraguay, I am going to go for a 1-0 win to Egypt. That then leaves France against Argentina in the main event game. What most people were tipping to be what would have been, I believe, the semi-final because of how the groups then switch around based on who's in what side of the draw. So we'll see. But it's France against Argentina. On paper, probably the 2 strongest sides going into the tournament. Again, on paper. And I've not been impressed with Argentina. Like, they've finished runners-up in their group, deservedly so. They've not been that impressive. They've not looked anywhere near as good as the reputation of some of the players, especially the youngsters. We obviously know about the exploits of the likes of Otamendi and Julian Alvarez, but there's a lot of hype around some of these Argentinian players that just have not delivered so far. Whereas the French players, Elise, Mateta, Desiree Doué, etc., even people coming in and out of the team, the backline look immense. Again, France haven't conceded a single goal in this tournament so far. That defence is absolutely solid, and you even got the likes of Bade popping up with goals at the other end as well. So, for me, I don't see any other result than a French win here. I said it earlier on in the video, France should be considered the favourites to win this entire competition. I'm going for 2-0 to the French, which will set up a tie with Spain in the semi-finals. But that's the way I see it. I've got Morocco against Egypt as one semi-final. I've got Spain against France as the other semi-final. Cue all the American trolls coming in because I've predicted all 3 sides from the Americas to be beaten today. And I've backed both African sides to get through, and I've backed the European sides to get through. So, as I said, bring it on. I'm ready to take the heat, but that is the way I see it today. Thank you very much for watching, as always. We'll be back tomorrow morning, where I'll be doing this all over again for the women's quarterfinals. I'll see you there.